But One Small Frog begins on middle C, goes up to D, spring action rest, back down to C, and it repeats. So here it is as a song. One small frog hurt his toe. One small frog cried ho ho. One Small Frog began with C. It doesn't have to begin with C. We can begin with the note D, with figure 8. Up and down, round we skate, we can make figure 8. Continues with dotted minim with the crotchet rest, the 4 wrist bends. Of course, these songs are now repeating what we did with black keys. But we have notes and staff notation, clefs. So there's quite a bit of information to attach to what we did in section 1. It's a sunny day. Can I go and play? Sun is shining down. Let's play on the ground. The first group was middle C and middle D with the right hand in the treble. In fact, basically, right at the beginning of the treble. The left hand now is going to start the second group of songs in the low octave, doing low C and D, and we have the bass clef at the beginning of the staff. The right hand was playing the upper staff line, the left hand is playing the lower staff line. So C and D, as in the right hand, is located near the 2 black keys, slightly to the left again. Third finger playing the C, second finger playing the D, and the low C is located in a space and the low D is a line. And we notice that the spaces and the lines are reversed when we go down an octave. You'll also notice that the low D has the stem pointing down, whereas all the other notes so far have had their stems pointing up. This is due to the fact that all stems tend to point towards the middle, the staff line, the middle staff. So we now repeat the same as the right hand. We do One Small Frog. The first 2 bars are fingered, and then the last 2 bars are unfingered. One small frog hurt his toe. One small frog cried oh oh. Figure 8. Up and down, round we skate. We can make figure 8. And It's a Sunny Day. It's a sunny day. Can I go and play? Sun is shining down. Let's play on the ground. So now we've covered the right hand and the left hand playing the treble and the bass using staff notation. We now combine the 2 hands separately to start with. So, It's a Sunny Day is in the middle octave and the left hand is in the low octave. So the right hand starts first and then the left hand responds. This is exactly what happened with the black keys. We have this right hand beginning first, then the left hand responding. Sometimes the response is exactly the same. That's why the two hands can play at the same time, because they're doing the same thing. They're responding in the same direction. But sometimes the direction is opposite. As you jump into the pool, the right hand will go C to D, and the left hand responds the opposite, going D down to C. We have an opposite response. Then the two hands come together, it's a sunny day. The next group is the octave. When octaves are written using staff notation, the notes are written on top of each other. So just like we saw without the staff notation, they're combined like this, and the two notes are played at the same time. Of course, you don't read the two staff lines at the same time. You follow the right hand and the left hand goes along with it. It's a sunny day, played again in octaves with staff notation. It's a sunny day, can I go and play? Sun is shining down, let's play on the ground. The following songs are all written completely unfingered. There's no need now to even indicate which finger to start with, because the student now is becoming familiar with the treble, middle C and D, and the bass C and D, low C and D. The lines and the space dictate where the note is, and there are only two fingers to play those notes, 2s and 3s. So One Small Frog, figure 8, both unfingered, and of course we've done these tunes before. One Small Frog. One small frog hurt his toe, one small frog cried oh oh. And figure 8, up and down, round we skate, we can make figure 8. Of course, when you become more familiar with the playing and the reading, one tends to start to gradually get a little bit faster. I've mentioned the aspect of singing to develop an ear for music. It's to develop oral skills. I do explain in more detail about what the importance of singing and developing this skill. You can learn, of course, the piano without any singing at all, but I think you'll benefit greatly from the singing part of it. The next topic that we start in the next group of songs is to do with articulation. We've already learnt this fact that when you play notes, you play keys, there's movement of the joints. We've only been looking at the movement of the wrist. But there's also individual finger movement. The first articulation that we've studied was referred to as detached articulation. The relaxed wrist curve is a detached articulation. You play, you detach, you play, you detach. You might do some wrist bending to make the note longer, but at the end you detach. You do a spring action rest after the wrist bending. So there's still this detaching aspect. Group 5 starts the second type of articulation, and it's given an Italian name, Italian being the language of music. It's called legato, and in legato fingers are walking along the keys, connecting each note so there's no detaching between the notes. Bob the Frog in the right hand connects the notes C and D. There are two ways of doing this articulation. One way is to keep the hand still and just move the finger joints. And the joint that tends to move, of course, is the one where the knuckles are. The second way of doing this is to do the wrist bending up and down. So each play of the finger is done on a wrist bend, like this. And then the wrist bend keeps going with the dotted minim. Whichever one you do is a personal response. You can study both, or you can favour one as against the other. One is not wrong, the other is not right. There's no right and wrong. It's a preference, and it's something that you continuously discover in learning an instrument. There are alternate ways of doing things, understanding things, presenting things. There are many options. This is one of the first options, is how to do the legato, which on the staff is shown by a curved line joining all the notes up together, all tied together. As the name legato means, it means to join something together. So Bob the Frog is, this is Bob the Frog. He's off for his jog. And the left hand, octave lower, bouncing ball does the same. Bouncing ball, bounce so high, watch it bounce to the sky. Two hands played legato, one after the other. Two fat grubs went for a walk, wiggly, diggly, wriggly, dee. Two notes played together in octaves. I am 6 feet high, maybe I can fly, better get some wings, or try other things. You might notice with I am 6 feet high that it's basically just 2 bars and they just keep repeating. This particular aspect of music, this continuous repeating of the same thing over and over, is a device for learning. I call it a micro-study. A study in something small, repeating a small group of notes, a small musical phrase, a couple of bars, repeating over and over. Essentially, that is how one studies. You study something by focusing on a part of it to develop your technique, develop reading music. And some of these songs are actually in micro-study form.